Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through some MLB player props I like on Prizepicks for today, for Thursday, August the 25th. I think we have a 9-game Thursday slate, a little bit of a split slate today. We do have a few early games, not many. I think it's like maybe 2 or 3 early games, but we got a 9-game slate. Not the best slate, to be honest with you. The board for today is kind of thin. There's really not a ton that I love on this board. I'm only going to be playing 2 plays at first look. I got a 2-pick for you guys that we'll talk about. We'll talk about the 2 plays I like for today. But this is definitely a day where I think it probably makes sense to play a little bit lighter. I'm sure on Friday, tomorrow we'll have a much bigger slate with plenty of options, and it'll be easier to find a lot of good plays on Friday. But for today, we're just going to run a 2-pick. Before we get started, though, talking through our 2 plays for today, guys, we can recap our plays we gave out in Wednesday's video. And we bounced back in a big way on Wednesday. Had a really, really good day Wednesday. We gave out 3 picks, and we hit all 3 of our plays. We hit the over on Logan Webb strikeouts, took that over 5. Logan Webb finished with 6 strikeouts. He pitched really well until I think it was the 6th inning. He kind of blew up in the 6th inning, but he had 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. And it took him forever. I think it took him until the 6th inning to finally get that 6th strikeout and go over. But he finished with 6 strikeouts. Kyle Wright, we took his over 5.5 strikeouts. His line actually got bumped down to 5, so that was kind of a bet that I didn't really feel good about. Once DraftKings posted their odds and I saw that Kyle Wright, the under on his strikeouts was like minus 170 on under 5.5. Obviously, that's not what I wanted to see, but Kyle Wright still came through for us, pitched a great game, finished with I think 8 strikeouts, and obviously went over his prop. And then we took the over on Cole Irvin's fantasy score, took that at 27.5. His line did get bumped up shortly after I posted my video. It got bumped up to 30.5. But Cole Irvin pitched like the best game of his career. He went 7 shutout innings with I think 11 strikeouts. He had a career high 11 strikeouts, finished with over 50 fantasy points. So even if you took Irvin's over, even after it got bumped up, obviously it still hit. So all 3 of our plays hit on Wednesday, and then we also had a great day on Patreon. We hit all 4 of our plays on Patreon. So in general, with all the plays that I played on Wednesday, it was a clean sweep from the Patreon plays and from the YouTube plays. I posted this on Twitter if you guys didn't see it, but I gave out 4 plays on Patreon. As you can see, I give out a list of plays that I liked each day, depending on how many plays there are that I liked for that day. Sometimes it's maybe 3 or 4 plays. Sometimes it'll be 5. On a day like today with such a small slate, there might only be like 2 or 3 plays that I find that I like, but I give a full write-up of each play. You can see the plays that I took for Wednesday, and the plays I shared on Patreon, and then I also give out my favorite 2 plays of the day. So after I make my video and after I post my plays on Patreon, I find more plays I like. I kind of figure out which 2 are my favorite out of all the ones that I'm on for that day. Posted my top 2, which was Kyle Wright and Logan Webb. Those were the 2 that I felt the best about, and I liked those quite a bit. And obviously both of those hit. So I had a really good day on Patreon. Had a really good day if you tail the picks on YouTube. These were some entries I made that I put together with all of my plays, just kind of running different combinations of all my plays. Great day though, man. Great day on Wednesday, and let's try and do it again. Even though this slate does suck, I'll be honest, so I don't want to get carried away today. That's something that I think is definitely important. Like after you have a really big day, you don't want to just start firing off a shit ton of money the next day, especially if it's a slate that doesn't. If it's a slate where you don't need to be doing that, it definitely makes sense to just kind of take it easy. I think today I'll probably be taking it easy. Probably going to be playing a little bit lighter. But before we talk through our 2 plays for today, guys, just real quickly, hit that like button if you've been enjoying these YouTube videos. If they help you out a lot, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. We're still pumping out MLB videos, even though it's kind of the MLB season is kind of slowly winding down, and we're kind of getting closer to NFL season. Still pumping out MLB videos, and obviously NFL season is right around the corner. I think next Thursday is when the NFL season kicks off. So super excited for that. Obviously going to be making a ton of content when NFL gets here. And then obviously, we have NBA in a couple months as well. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you guys have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, definitely get over there, sign up, use promo code NOAH. When you do, get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. But talking through our 2 plays for Thursday's slate, we're going to start off in one of these early games. I do like a play in this first game of the day, the Angels and Rays game. It starts at 1:10 Eastern time. So hopefully by the time you're watching this video, this game is not started yet, and you'll be able to get this play in. But we're going to be taking Drew Rasmussen. I think that's how you say his last name. We're going to be taking his We're taking more 31.5 fantasy score for Rasmussen. I don't know why Prizepicks did this, but they actually changed. It's no longer over or under now. It's more or less. So we're going to be taking Drew Rasmussen for more than 31.5 fantasy points, or over 31.5 fantasy points, whichever way you want to look at it. But the reason I like this play so much, for one, is the matchup. I mean, this is a matchup that I've just continued to target all season. The Angels, they're just one of the worst teams in the league, and they strike out a ton. So, so far this year, against right-handed pitching, the Angels, they lead the league with a 26.9% K rate. There are just so many strikeouts up and down this Angels lineup, and in general, this is not a lineup that you should really fear. If you look at where the Angels rank offensively, they're 25th in batting average. They are 27th in on-base percentage. In terms of slugging, I think they're a little bit higher in slugging, but still they're league average. They're 17th in slugging. In terms of OPS, the Angels are, where are they at in OPS? They are, let's see, they're the 23rd in slugging. In terms of ISO, the Angels are they're 11th in ISO, but most of these numbers are like bottom 10 in the league. In terms of WRC plus, the Angels rank 24th. So this is not a lineup that you really fear. Like, the only hitters you're scared of are definitely like Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. I mean, David Fletcher, like, he's not that great of a hitter, but he doesn't strike out much. He's just kind of an annoying hitter to face because he doesn't strike out, has just a 7% K rate, but he really doesn't have any power. Rengifo's kind of the same thing. Like, he's actually had a really good season. He doesn't strike out a ton. But the bottom of that Angels lineup is just loaded with strikeouts. I mean, you've got Jared Walsh with a 30% K rate, Suzuki 22%, Rojas 28%. Sierra actually hasn't been striking out that much this year, but he's just not that good of a hitter. I mean, he has a .70 ISO and a 236 WOBA against righties. So it's a weak lineup in general, and it's a lineup that strikes out a lot. And Rasmussen's a solid pitcher. His strikeout stuff is about average. He has a 21% K rate this season, but he does a fairly good job of avoiding damage. He doesn't really get blown up that often. I think when you're looking at this matchup, when you're looking in this pitching environment in Tampa Bay, a very good pitcher's ballpark, this is definitely a spot where we could see Rasmussen go 6-7 innings, only allow maybe 1 or 2 runs. Obviously, he should be able to get some strikeouts in this matchup. I think it's very likely that he gets 4, 5, 6 Ks. I was looking at his K prop for today, and it's currently set at 5. You could take that instead of fantasy score, but I think if Rasmussen gets 6 strikeouts, it's pretty likely that he finishes with more than 32 fantasy points. I guess there's a possibility that he gets 6 strikeouts and gives up like 3 runs and doesn't get there, but I think 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts is pretty likely, somewhere around there. Maybe even like 6 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. And if he does that, that's going to put him at 34 fantasy points, which would obviously put him over his projection. So I'm kind of banking on a quality start with like 4 or 5 strikeouts, maybe only 1 or 2 runs allowed. Rasmussen maybe could get a win as well. Right now, looking at the odds for this game, the Rays, they're pretty decent favorites. They're minus 189 moneyline favorites in this game. The Angels, they do have a very low implied total, just a 3.1 implied run total for the Angels. So the sports books are obviously not expecting the Angels to really put up many runs here. I think it's just a good matchup. It's a good spot for Rasmussen. It's a good pitcher's ballpark. I think this fantasy score line could be a few points higher. I think 33.5, 34.5 probably feels like what his projection should be in this matchup. But I do like this one, taking Drew Rasmussen, just put up more than 31.5 fantasy points. But then our next play for today, to round out our 2-pick entry, another guy in a very friendly matchup in one of these late games, it's Jameson Taillon, and we're going to be taking his over, or we're going to be taking more 33.5 fantasy points for Taillon today. And obviously, it's a good spot for him going up against Oakland. Oakland's another team that I just, offensively, they're not a team that you really fear. If you look at where Oakland ranks this season in terms of their offensive numbers, I mean, they've been one of the worst teams in the league against right-handed pitching. They're dead last in batting average. They're second to last in on-base percentage, second to last in slugging, second to last in OPS, third to worst in ISO. They're dead last in BABIP. In terms of WRC plus, they're third worst in that category. And if you look at their strikeout rate, this Oakland team will strike out. They do have the 8th highest K rate, 23.6% strikeout rate against righties this year. It's just, this Oakland team is not a lineup that you really fear. There's not really much power in this lineup. There's a lot of weak hitters. There's also a lot of strikeouts to be had. I mean, you got guys like Stevenson, 31% K rate, Murphy, 21%, Brown, 24%. If Pender's in the lineup, he's got a 33% K rate. Langoliers, 42% strikeout rate against righties. He's been striking out a ton. Like the only low K guys are Tony Kemp. Tony Kemp's a tough guy to strike out, has just an 11% K rate. And then Machine at the bottom of the lineup, he has just a 15% K rate. But everyone else in this Oakland lineup has a strikeout rate above 21%. Obviously, this is another scenario similar to Rasmussen. Jameson Taillon's going to be getting to pitch in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think it definitely helps getting to play in Oakland today instead of playing in Yankee Stadium, just because Yankee Stadium is a much more hitter-friendly ballpark than Oakland is. Right now, the A's have just a 2.9 implied run total. Very similar situation to Rasmussen, where the sports books, they're not expecting Oakland to really put up many runs here. The Yankees are also very heavy favorites to win this game. They're minus 226 moneyline favorites, so this is definitely a spot where Taillon could be pitching with the lead. Maybe he could get a win as well, but I'm kind of banking on a quality start with 4, 5, 6 strikeouts. I don't really expect him to give up many runs against this Oakland team. Now he has faced Oakland once this season, and he actually kind of struggled against them. But if I do remember correctly, Taillon was pitching really well against Oakland, and then it just kind of all went to shit in one inning, if I remember correctly. He went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, finished with 6 strikeouts, and finished with 30 fantasy points when he faced Oakland earlier this year. That feels like almost like kind of a floor game for Taillon. Like you would think in this matchup, going 5 innings with 3 runs allowed and 6 strikeouts, that kind of feels like worst case scenario for Taillon. You wouldn't expect him to give up 3 runs against this Oakland team. I think less than 3 runs is very likely. You would probably expect him to pitch deeper than 5 innings as well. I think going 6 innings, getting a quality start is pretty likely for Taillon here. And again, if the Yankees have a lead, there's a good chance he can get a win. With the Yankees being big favorites in this game, that's obviously a possibility as well. So kind of banking on a quality start from Taillon with anywhere from like 4 to 6 strikeouts. If he does that, pretty likely that he'll finish with 34 fantasy points or more. And this is another scenario, like I was looking at his K prop for today, it's set at 5. Like I want to say that if Taillon gets 6 strikeouts or more, kind of similar to Rasmussen, I want to say that if he gets 6 strikeouts or more, he's probably going to finish with 34 fantasy points or more. There's a possibility that he gets 6, last time he faced Oakland, he got 6 strikeouts but only finished with 30 fantasy points. But he also only pitched 5 innings and he gave up 3 runs, which kind of feels like something that you wouldn't expect to happen. So if he goes 6 innings with 6 strikeouts, that's probably going to be good enough, because at that point he's probably getting the quality start. And you wouldn't think he's going to give up more than 3 runs in this matchup. So that's kind of what I'm liking for today, guys. I will say, again, this board is it's pretty gross. I'm not seeing a ton that I love for today. This is definitely a day I'll probably be playing a little bit lighter, but did want to share this 2-pick with you guys. Already put this entry in myself, so hopefully we can cash out on this 2-pick and have another good day today. But I'm sure we'll have a much bigger slate Friday. There'll definitely be a lot more to like on Friday's slate, but I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope it did help. If you enjoyed, hit that like button before you get out of here. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Make sure to check out Prizepicks as well. If you have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, get over there, sign up, use promo code NOAH. When you do sign up with my promo code, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. And also, if you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, again, I provide those over on Patreon. We had a great day on Patreon, hit all 4 of our Patreon plays. Obviously, we hit all 3 of the plays we gave out on YouTube as well. So it was a very, very good day yesterday. Full sweep across the board, 7-0 day. If you want to get access to my Patreon plays with the write-ups of every play that I'm on each day, you can check it out. It's linked down below in the description. Also, I do share my top 2 plays of the day. Pretty sure we've hit that 6 out of the last 7 days, or honestly, it might be 7 out of the last 8 days. We've hit our top 2 plays on Patreon. So Patreon play has been doing really well, man. If you want to check that out, again, it's linked down below in the description. But best of luck today, guys. Thanks as always for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.